Hello everyone, welcome back to this week's edition of Ian Explains. My name is Don Gibson. Ian Explains is a segment we put on where an EN engineering expert helps dissect a specific topic for us and make it easier to understand. This week we're kicking off part one of a 5-part series on electrification. To help us do this, we have with us John Marcheski. Now John is Vice President of Electric Consulting for EN. So John, how are you today?
Doing great, Don. How are you doing?
Great. So John, tell us, what is electrification?
Well, electrification in general refers to the process of replacing technologies that use fossil fuels like oil, coal, and natural gas with cleaner technologies that don't burn those fuels and as such don't emit carbon emissions. You can find these regularly mentioned in terms of automobiles as of late. A lot of electric cars coming to the market out there. Electrification could also involve things like public transportation, buses, delivery vehicles. One other area where electrification can be very significant, especially for those who live in the northern climates, is home heating. A lot of homes in the northern and northeastern U.S. Still use oil for heating, use natural gas across the country for heating, and replacing the units that heat your home with electric heat pumps and other similar technologies will become a big part of electrification as we go forward.
So John, as we begin to electrify these fossil fuel technologies, what things will we begin to do differently?
Well, taking the most common example that's available today, if you have an electric car, you'll no longer need to visit the gas station, and instead will need to find ways to charge your vehicle, whether you do it at home when it's parked at night, or whether you do it parked at your office building at work, or if you're taking a long distance trip, maybe you'll need to charge your vehicle once or twice along the way at a roadside charger. So from a vehicle perspective, things are going to be a little bit different in terms of how you put energy into your vehicle. All of your heating energy needs will be delivered by your electric service, or perhaps partially or fully produced on site using some technologies like photovoltaics. So if you wanted to fast forward 40, 50 years from now, as things electrify, some of the daily routines that we were so accustomed to doing are probably going to change and maybe even fall by the wayside altogether.
So as we use electric energy to replace the fossil fuels that we have now, how is that going to affect the electric system or the grid?
It could happen in several different ways, but if you're thinking about people going home and charging electric vehicles at home at night, perhaps the electric usage of your home will increase fairly significantly, and there may even be some issues that show up out on the power distribution system to be able to serve the additional electric load that's being required by these chargers that are being used at home. Overall, the power grid itself will probably see increased electric usage. As a power system planner, how do you forecast when the power system will see these increased loads and where these increased loads might show up? As you're trying to plan a system and come up with what capital spends may need to be for the next 5 to 10 years, being able to forecast where these loads will show up and to what extent they will show up will be something that will be very important and potentially add a lot of value to the function of a power system planner.
So where will all this new power come from?
Well, for one thing, it should be hopefully generated by resources that don't produce any carbon themselves. So as you're charging your car, hopefully that power is coming from energy that's either produced by the sun or produced by wind or some other renewable technology, or perhaps that energy was produced by a renewable technology and stored for use later on.
And finally, how can EN help support utilities, developers, and other companies with electrification?
EN Engineering has quite a portfolio of services that can assist power system planners, operators, utilities in forecasting and managing the electric growth that will accompany electrification trends. We can help with system planning studies and the forecasting involved with electrification. As capital improvements are identified, we can help with the engineering of those capital improvements. And as they're being built, we can help with the management of each capital project or the construction and testing and commissioning of the facilities that are needed. And in any number of ways, we can help utilities and others to plan their system and be able to run it more effectively as the changes occur due to electrification.
So John, thanks again for helping walk us through this first part on our series on electrification. For those of you watching online, please feel free to like or comment in the section in order to be entered into a contest to win a gift card. So John, thanks again. Have a great week and stay safe.
All right, Don, thanks. You as well.